What's going on YouTube? Ryan Alex back, Dopamon again. Today we're talking about Team Sweden's announced rosters. They announced their roster earlier today. We're gonna talk about possible line matchups, predictions for the team, things like that. Yeah.
But before we get into it, we've also covered Czechia, Finland, Slovakia, Switzerland, USA. They've all been announced, and go check them out if you haven't already, if you're interested, and if you want to keep up with other countries releasing their rosters, hit like and subscribe, and it would really help out the channel.
Yeah, we're just gonna go over the players here, starting with the goaltenders. I think the goaltenders are fairly set. Not quite sure. I know the top two are at least. We got Lars Johansson, Magnus Hellberg, and Adam Reideborn are our goalies. Lars Johansson was the guy we decided on as our quote unquote starter. All three of these goalies play in the KHL, so that's something to be aware of. None of them are from the SHL. SK St. Petersburg for Johansson, Sochi for Hellberg, and Moskva for Reideborn. Start with Johansson, sorry. Older goalie, 34 years old. A lot of this team, along with the Finnish team, I noticed, ended up with older guys. But Johansson's got a 932 save percentage in the KHL, and all of the goalies' KHL numbers are generally a little inflated, but that's pretty really good. He's having a great season over there. Magnus Hellberg, 6'6", had a Cup of Joe in the NHL, mainly for the New York Rangers in 2016-17.
Mainly for
917 save
being six
percentage.
foot six as well. When you're that big, you definitely get a chance at the NHL compared to the smaller goaltenders.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And Reideborn, 30 years old, 6 feet, right on the button, playing for CSKA Moskva. The KHL is 902 this year, so he's our third goalie. But either one of Johansson and Hellberg will be the guys. Probably both, to be completely honest, over the course of the tournament. But we'll see.
All right, and our first D pair, our top pair on the left, we have Henrik Tamernes, and on the right, Jonathan Pudas. Sorry if I butcher any names. We really do try our best. Uh, this pair, we have them together because they were the top pair at the Kerala Cup 2 months ago in November of 2021. So we that's why we put them together. When you talk about getting a team together really quickly, chemistry is super important, and these two have it. Uh, Purdas, he was never drafted. He spent his entire career in the SHL in Sweden. He's been the alternate captain of uh, Skellefteå for 2 years actually, but he actually had a stint in the KHL. And he was on the World Cup team as well last year, where
World
his
Championships.
World Championships, yeah, World Cup, the World Championships, where his partner that we have, Henrik, was the captain of that Swedish team actually. So we think that he's going to be playing a big part of this team as well.
Yeah, both of these guys, incredibly big offensive numbers. I don't know if you saw as I scroll by, but um, Tamernes, 48 points in 39 games as a defenseman in the Swiss league. And I know the
Mhm.
Swiss league isn't known for being, the best league in the world, but even still, as a defenseman, to be way more than a point per game in that league is insane. And Pudash, 35 points in 32 games in the SHL. So incredible, incredible numbers for these two. That's your top pair, 1,000,000%. Our second pair, we got Emil Djuse. I don't know how to pronounce this man's name at all. And Christian Folin. Folin was the one with the more NHL experience. Has a lot in the NHL. Almost 300 games, 244 games between Minnesota, LA, Philadelphia, and Montreal. Most recently, Montreal in 2019-20 played 16 games for Montreal. And the other guy, more offensive-minded defenseman, didn't play in the NHL. Had a cup of tea in the AHL. Texas Stars, 29 points in a partial season there. Yeah, this is our second pair. Another NL guy. I noticed there's actually probably more NL guys than KHL players. I think might be close.
Yep, there is.
But yeah, this seems like another pairing. Again, this was a combination in the most recent international competition, the Kerala Cup, and they have experience playing together. So easy pick here for us.
In our third line on the left, we have Oscar Fantenberg, and on the right, Linus Hultstrom. Oscar Fantenberg, I'm a huge fan of. He's a shutdown D. He's playing the top pair for the SKA St. Petersburg right now. He's not really much of a points guy, but he's a shutdown D. That's really his role. He did have a stint in the NHL for LA and Vancouver. I liked him in LA. I feel like if the Vancouver Canucks team that he played for wasn't kind of shaky at times, I feel like maybe he would have, maybe had a more steady NHL career after, maybe gotten another contract, but moved on to the KHL. Doesn't have to score much. It is like you said earlier, a much lower scoring league compared to the NHL, where this defensive defenseman, kind of type of play can thrive. I really like him. He's a top pair guy, puts up, 20 minutes a night, over 20 minutes. And his partner, Linus Holstrom, is an offensive kind of guy, scoring a bunch in the KHL right now. I feel like this is his like, career year. This is his like peak. He's in his prime. And it's the perfect time for him to be at the Olympic.
Yeah, and honestly, these three pairings, it's kind of 1A, 1B, 1C for me. There's
Mhm.
depending on the situation, could be used in different parts of the game, whether in the offensive zone, defensive zone, what have you. So I like Sweden's defense core. I really do. I think it's pretty strong. I think they got a lot of different aspects. They got some size, some skills, some power play, some penalty kill. I think they've done a pretty good job. And to round it out, just as our extra guys here, we got Erik Gustafsson. No, not that Erik Gustafsson. And Lukas Bengtsson. I got bamboozled by Erik Gustafsson when I saw this thing. It's not Erik Gustafsson currently plays in the NHL. It's a different one. 33-year-old, spelled the same way, I'm pretty sure.
Mhm. Mhm.
Had a little bit of time with the Philadelphia Flyers, which caught me again because I think the other Erik Gustafsson also played with the Flyers, so I was all over the place. But no, he's played last 4 seasons, the captain of Lulea, 16 points in 30 games for them. Uh, not bad. Another guy that can be up and down the lineup too if they need him, Lukas Bengtsson, right hand shot, 27 years old. Yeah, a little bit of time in Wilkes-Barre, Pittsburgh's organization, playing Dynamo Minsk. 42 games over there.
On to our forward lines.
Hmm.
Our top line. On the left, we have Joachim Nordstrom. Down the middle, Lucas Wallmark. And on the right, Matthias Brome. Uh, Nordstrom and Wallmark. They are the top line for the CSKA Moskva team in the KHL. They are scoring a lot together. I feel like they were picked, obviously they were coached and put together on that line, because of the communication factor, maybe because they're both Swedish, it helps them play, but I feel like there's some chemistry there, and that's why they're picked to play together here in the Olympics. So we have them together as well. And on the right, Brome. He's the guy that I believe the way that you put it, uh, he's too good for the HC Davos. He's only there because he wants to be. He's scoring a ton in that league. He's of all the National League, the Swiss National League's players on this roster. I think he's the top scorer. So
I think it's
we have him
actually
on
the
the first line with
defenseman,
him.
but yeah.
Oh right, yeah, of course. Other than other than him, he's the top scorer for forwards, so
Yeah.
we have him on the top line here because we weren't sure who to put on the right wing on the first line.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Brome. I liked him when he played in Detroit just a few seasons ago. Didn't have a lot of points, but I didn't hate the way he was playing on a bad Detroit team. Getting a little bit of
Mhm.
opportunity there, and I think he's the perfect complement for Walmart and Nordstrom, two NHL guys, and they must know each other from the NHL. Otherwise, I think a solid first line here.
I
Line
think
number
they
two.
played together. Nordstrom and Walmart played together in Carolina for 2 years.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, a lot of familiarity there.
hmm
Line two has got some Leafs content on it. You Leafs fans out there like me. On the left, we got Pontus Omberg. Middle, Fredrik Olofsson and Max Fribourg. Pontus Omberg is one of the low-key better Leafs prospects. Was a sixth-round pick, 2018, 156th overall, so not very high in the draft, but he's a very good offensive player with a really, really good hockey sense. And kind of busted onto the scene with this stat line, 14 points in 14 games for the championship SHL team. And has 28 and 33 so far this year. So he's putting up numbers, and yeah, if you're looking for Leafs content, that's a perfect one for Sweden. Fredrik Olofsson in the middle. I know these two have played together in the past few championships and international competitions. Fredrik Olofsson and Pontus Omberg. Originally a fourth round pick of the Chicago Blackhawks. Played a lot in North America through the NCAA and USHL growing up. He's actually only been in Sweden for the past few years, but he has 27 points in 30 games in the SHL so far. And Max Fribourg is the guy to round out this line. Initially an Anaheim Ducks selection back in 2011. Good winger, a little bit of NHL experience. Not a huge points guy necessarily, but I think a good complement to the potentially big offensive duo of Holmberg and Olofsson.
And the tournament they played together at was the Kerala Cup. A
Yes.
solid like 2/3 of this team comes from that had played at the Kerala Cup.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there is a lot of chemistry from this team going into this the Olympics. So I think that'll play a huge factor actually.
Yeah, the Kerala Cup was played in November, so it's
hmm
very recent
Yeah.
international stuff, more so than the World Championships. So there's only a few months ago these guys played an international hockey competition with each other. So that's
hmm
why we're putting a lot of emphasis into those lines. It's because it was so recent. If it was more than a year ago, it probably wouldn't matter, but very recent stuff.
And speaking of that cup, on our third line we have Jacob De La Rose, Marcus Kruger, and Dennis Everberg. De La Rose and Kruger should be names you're very familiar with. De La Rose and Everberg at that Corella Cup played on the same line, so we have them together for the sake of chemistry. Of course, Marcus Kruger, he's a long time Chicago Blackhawks solid center. I feel like on the third line here, you can't go wrong with him there. Jacob De La Rose, we all know he's also, a strong, kind of like a bottom six kind of role, third line as well. He's been a center or a winger. I feel like either could take a face off on this line, and I really like this as like a checking line.
Yeah, I do too. I think it brings pretty good energy. Obviously, Kruger with, I think it was only two Stanley Cups to his name in Chicago, but I
Yep,
think this would
whatever.
be yeah, only two. Uh, I think this could be a pretty good energy line, um, grinder line, defensive line, whatever you want to call it.
hmm
Good third. I think guys that will play off well together. Rounding out for fourth line, we have Linus Johansson, Anton Lander, and Carl Klingberg. If I did that, Linus Johansson, 29 years old, he's got a big hockey family. Currently in the SHL is 18 points in 31 games. Anton Lander is the guy that I'm the most familiar with. He played a little bit in the NHL, I think, with Edmonton. Yeah, he was signed by, or drafted second round 2009 by the Edmonton Oilers. Didn't really get a chance in Edmonton. I thought he got a chance. He played a lot of games, but not where I thought he could be in the lineup, is what I mean. He had 20 points in 38 games for the Edmonton Oilers in 14-15. Currently playing in the NL. Got KHL experience. I think he could have done a lot more for the Oilers, and if they kept him around. But yeah, could be a guy, to be honest, that could be higher in the lineup potentially, but we put him on the fourth line because we think the other ones fit better. And Carl Klingberg is actually the brother of John Klingberg. So
he's also a line mate with Anton Lander.
Yeah.
In the same EV Zug team in Switzerland.
Yep, exactly. So both EV Zug guys, both played together, both very familiar with each other. Obviously, we put them together, and Linus Johansson rounds it out on the left side.
And our final two extra forwards, we have Gustav Rydahl and Daniel Brodin. Rydahl, he's actually during the Kerala, not the Kerala Cup, sorry, the Channel One Cup back in December, so just a month ago, he was on the same line as Jacob De La Rose. I feel like if there needs to be maybe some kind of chemistry in the bottom six, maybe he could slide in. His numbers aren't as great. Same with Daniel Brodin. He is really fast for his size. Playing in the Swiss National League right now, he's more of a scorer. I feel like if they need just a shoot of offense, and maybe he can slide in, but I don't know how much ice time he's gonna get. So we just have him as the extra forwards.
Yeah, he's a really specific player with, a skill set that we're not sure where it fits in the lineup. So could be in the lineup, could be high in the lineup. He's a good shooter, but because we don't quite know, like I like Brome over him, I like Fribourg over him, just with the chemistry that they have with those guys. Could be just the odd man out, but never know. Could sneak his way in the lineup. But
Daniel Brodin actually is a Toronto Maple Leafs, former Toronto Maple Leafs draft pick in 2010, fifth round.
Oh, that's why I recognize his name.
Yeah. I feel like, he could definitely slide into that top six right wing slot, while Rydahl might slide into a bottom six slot. That's just how we kind of see the roster kind of being put together here. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for leading us out.
Yeah, and I think Sweden has a chance. I really do. I like the Swedish team. I really do. It's got a lot of different things it could do, a lot of things it could throw at you. It's got a lot of different lines that play really specific styles, and everyone has a lot of familiarity with each other. And if they get really good goaltending from either Johansson or Hellberg, I think they could be a serious threat for a medal. And I'll say right now, that's my prediction. They will be a medal team. I think it's the first team that I've said whether or not they will be a medal team. I say Sweden will be this year.
I believe they have the most, so far of any national team announced, the most NHL experience, over 2,000 combined NHL games. I do like the experience factor, the chemistry, seeing it all together like this. I agree. I definitely think that they're a medalist this year. They're going to put their Finland. They're going to put a lot of pressure on them.
Yeah, that Finland-Sweden game is going to be really, really fun. But obviously being in the same division as each other, and the other divisions, other people in their divisions, Latvia and Slovakia. So those two teams have their work cut out for them against this roster, I think. Latvia has yet to announce their roster, but Slovakia and Finland's roster has been announced. We actually have talked about it on the channel, so if you want to check those out, feel free to do that. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed. If you made it this far, thank you so much. Really appreciate you guys. And yeah, let us know what you think about this team. Is there anyone missing? Did Sweden get any big snubs? Who's the guy? Who's the guy to look out for on this team? Let us know. Subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Thanks so much. Peace.